Welcome to the breakfast hour. It is a beautiful Tuesday morning, and I'm so happy. I'm so happy to be here. I want to welcome our viewers tuned in on all the social media platforms. If you're on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Twitch, TikTok, wherever you are finding us this morning, welcome to the breakfast hour. We have a lot in store for you. Good morning, Mikey G.
Good morning, Lady Elise. I'm telling you, when I think about it this morning, my first thought went to, we had a little bit of rainfall today, and cool down the place a little bit. The place is so hot, and not everywhere that gets the rain, right? But it's a little spurt of rain that comes in and cool down the area a little bit, because right now in the Grand Cayman is a little bit warmer than usual. The temperature is getting up into some real heated moments. And of course, for those who are working on the outside, we can understand that those who are traveling from their offices of air condition and into their air conditioned cars are feeling the heat mercilessly. You know what I'm saying? But you can imagine those guys who work out there in the sun, and ladies as well, who works out there in the open atmosphere where the sun pelts down on them in this heat, and they have to stay there because that's how they make their bread. No air conditions, no fans or cooling system, just pure, just pure. Yeah.
I would say almost that we are hard to please. It was just the other day when it was very cool, and there are some persons who are experiencing cooler than normal temperature, and you're like, when is this going to be stopping? And then we have the other extreme happening. But nonetheless, it is Tuesday where we focus on financial wellness right here in the breakfast hour, and we are happy that you have joined us from near and far. There is something, believe me, there is something for everyone to learn. Now, the conversation we have been having over the last 2 weeks as it relates to finances is about investments. Everybody wants to know what's a safe way,
Yes.
and how do we do it, and what are the options existing. Even if you have a small amount, Mikey G, I put it to you, you plant that seed, you plant it, and it will become a huge tree. So I want to say shout out to all those persons who have planted the seed and are now reaping the fruits. And I am learning myself, as we have the conversation. So stick and stay with us this morning. We have lots in store for you, lots and lots to share with you today.
I figure as much as if I put my money in the bank, I should be at least getting a 20% returns on my funds at all costs every single time that I put that in there. It's like saying that 20% returns is a fair. If I put $1,000 in there, 20% of
Yes.
$1,000 should at least come to me. All right.
Yes.
Let's make it even less fair. 10% of that.
That's okay, Mikey G. It's all right.
Let's make it less
It's all
fair.
right.
Less fair for the person who put their money in.
I say think big. I say put it out there.
10%,
Think about it.
10% of what you put in the bank is less fair than 20%, but it is in the Bible's context a tithe.
Yes.
Give at least a
Yes.
tithe of a tenth back to the person who loan you their money to use to make you rich.
Yes.
10% is, I think, enough. I think not, it could be more. As I say, a fair amount is 20%, because tithing is 10, a fair amount of a profit is 20%, which would give the person a tithing and also a profit on their money, right? But then, I'm just putting it out there that this is really fair. $100,000, 10%. I should be able to take 10% of $100,000 if I put it in the bank, just put it in there, let it sit there, and somebody's using my money. I believe that I should be able to get at least 10% and interest for my $100,000. I don't know. All those who agree, put up your hands and say aye. I can't see you yet, but I know you're doing it.
Well, nonetheless, we will hear more about actual rates and what our financial advisor has to share with us in the second in a six-part series on investment. So stick and stay with us this morning right here on the Breakfast Hour.
Of course, when we come back.
People ask is, where should I invest my money? Last week we spoke about the relationship between risk and return. Today we are looking at the safest category of investments: cash, savings accounts, and government bonds. These investments are not designed to make you rich, but they play a very important role in every financial plan. So why do safe investments exist? Many people think investing is only about making money, but smart financial planning is also about protecting that money. There are times when safety is more important than growth. Examples include emergency funds, short-term savings, money needed within 1 to 3 years, retirement income protection, and the ability to act on an opportunity when the need arises. This is where safe investments come in. Types of safe investments. The first one that each one know, and the most simple one, is a savings account. That is, you deposit your money at a bank and you earn interest. The typical return is somewhere in the region of 1 to 3% per annum. The pros of this: they're very safe, highly liquid, meaning that you can convert it to cash and make use of it immediately, and it's very easy to access. The cons: very low returns and often below the inflation rate. The second one are money market funds. These are investment funds that invest in very short-term debt instruments. They usually earn slightly more than a savings account, and returns typically range anywhere between 3 and 5% per annum. The third one are government bonds. Governments borrow money from investors and promise to repay it with interest. Examples are treasury bills, government bonds, and savings bonds. Because governments rarely default, these investments are considered low risk. The typical return on a government bond is somewhere in the region of 3 to 6%. The inflation problem. One major risk with safe investments is inflation. Inflation reduces the purchasing power of your money over time. For example, if inflation is 4% and your saving account earns 3%, your money is actually losing value. This is why safe investment should not be your only investment strategy. Now let us compare two investors. Both invest $10,000 for 20 years. Investor A uses only safe investments at 3% per annum. Their final value, $18,061. Investor B, on the other hand, invests in a mixed strategy of assets averaging 8%. Their final value is $46,610. The difference is dramatic. This is why safe investments protect wealth but rarely build it. It's appropriate. Safe investments are ideal for emergency funds, and that is usually, as we mentioned, somewhere in the region of 6 months. So you really should have about 6 months of your monies, of your income, saved in an emergency fund. Short-term savings. You want to put down something typically for 1 to 3 years. So you have a time horizon. For example, you know your children are going to university in another year or two. You want to make sure that you have assets, cash, available when it is time to pay the school fee or tuition fees. Retirees needing stable income. Since you have no other source of income most of the time, what you would like to do is to ensure that there is sufficient monies available when you need it. And of course, risk-averse investors. Those persons who don't want to put their monies anywhere else and want to make sure that they can see, touch, feel, and access their money anytime. But there's another one, the prudent investor. Someone who waits for the opportunity to arise for him to go ahead and take advantage of it by having cash at the ready. Younger investors should generally avoid putting all their money in low return assets. In closing, safe investments are not necessarily exciting, but they are essential. In our next episode, we will discuss one of the most powerful wealth building tools available to investors, and that is the stock market. Thank you for listening to this episode of Safe Investments. We look forward to seeing you on our next episode, Investing in the Stock Market. Thank you.
Of course, thank you, Mr. Tellwell, for that wealth of information, Lady Elise. I tell you.
It's so interesting. The safe investor. I don't know when it comes down to money.
At 3% per annum. You see, I was telling you about the idea of what was fear. That 20% that was fear, because you'd have put your money in the bank, and it would be of an investment sort of thing, because you'd have loaned it to the bank for them to keep it, and they can now use it to create as much wealth with their money instruments that they are working through. And I would lend them the money to put in oil and put in special minerals and whatever it is they're investing in.
So they take the risk.
So they take the risk. But I'm telling you, the risk is also mine, because I give it to them at a risk also. It's my money. And if they don't give it back to me, it's a risk to me. All of it is gone, And so I have to see it as so. I can't just say they are taking the risk, and they have a system in place which put them in a seat of responsibility to me. Correct. To ensure that I get my money back, plus the returns on my money that I've invested with them. You see where I'm going? So if you're unable to do anything with the money, then you should have left it with me and let me put it on the mattress where it would stay, and I wouldn't have to worry about it, and you wouldn't have to worry about it either. None of us worrying about my money. You understand what I'm saying?
Well, look at it this way, Mikey G. I have had experience that I have lost money. I have invested, and the returns have not come back to me.
To you.
And because of that, one becomes very fearful. Very fearful.
Of investing.
And so even though the fear is not going to help you, and you will never earn on your money, you put it down in the bank, and especially these days, interest rates.
Bank is not giving you interest like that again.
So
they're actually charging. In fact, they have a policy in there. There's a some banks have a $1,000 markup that you must have in the bank, and at that rate of $1,000 or $500, I'm not sure what every bank have a different standard. Like one bank would change a check for you for $5, one changes for $1, one changes for $10, and then the same bank they don't change the check at all, even if it's their check. All that sort of thing goes on, right? So it is, everybody have their own rules in this system, so it's a free for all. And so the unregulated monetary system that causes this to happen is something of, nobody wants to look at it because it serves the status quo. However it works, it benefits somebody or it benefits everyone. So let's get it continue to do that. But have I said that they now they're not just giving you interest, they're taking money from you. You'll be there and you'll have less than that $1,000, and if you leave it long enough, you'll go back and your account is 0.009. Eventually, they have taken every cent for banking fees from you after giving them your money to keep and use for their own purpose. And so you have to understand that everybody wants to find a way to make money, but then you have to see where extortion is not the order of the day. I don't think I don't think that it should be that the person will put their money in the bank. And this is my personal. I don't think I should put my money in the bank and somebody's charging me fee on it. They should be giving me something, because that's what they taught me in school. I went to school when interest in the bank was, once you put your money in the bank, you're getting something on it, and that's the incentive to putting it in the bank. But now that they have gotten you on the hook of everybody must go to the bank, they have enough. They have enough now. They are now trying to they have realigned their conversation, and now they are taking money from you instead of giving it to you.
So now you pay to save.
I pay now to save money.
Well, it's a very interesting conversation, and I want to thank Richard for spending the time to walk with us through this journey. And sometimes it can be really very stressful, Mikey G. But this conversation is not for
the faint of heart.
And two, it doesn't mean that you have to have a whole lot of money.
Right.
The little that you have, and if you go back, I have to go back to biblical things. And there was a story in the Bible of what he had left stuff, right? The stewards, right?
Stewards to take care of the wealth that he gave to them.
I didn't get enough. And so
he gave 1, 2, 3, and 4, 5. Different people get. That is where the concept was talents, huh?
Yes. So it's the same thing. So it doesn't mean that you have a whole lot of money, but what you do have,
what you do with
you become a steward of what you have. And so the conversation, I want to thank Richard. And if you have any questions or comments that you want to share, please go ahead and put them in the chat. Send us a message, email us at flashpointradioja@gmail.com, and we can share with our financial advisor. I will also place in the description how to reach out to him as well.
Well, Lady Elise, of course, this morning was excitingly interesting in the context. I was talking about that 20%, and lo and behold, he came back and said at 2%. I remember there was a guy in Jamaica, Hill, I think he was, and he was giving out some 10% on interest rates on money invested with them at that time, and that the bank, I would say that the bank shut him down. I don't want to use another word. There's another word that I would use, but the bank shut him down, that he couldn't pay. He could not. People who had money to be paid to them didn't have access to their accounts that they could collect the money from, and that's the strategy they used to bankrupt him. And when they bankrupt him, then they place a criminal charge on him afterwards, that he was committing a crime now to give people more than 2% of their money. That's my take on it. Because this thing was good, And so that's what I believe that the bank should be doing. Just like him. 10% of your money should come back to you after investing. And people putting hundreds of thousands of dollars in there, and the bank just shut him down. And those who had the control of that, working together with themselves, shut him down because he was making them look bad. And they cut him down badly. Turn him into, a criminal overnight. I'm going to say it like that because that's how I saw it. Espionage at the highest level was employed and destroyed that man's thing. They call it a Ponzi scheme afterwards because you shouldn't get more than 2% of your money. It's a Ponzi scheme. All right, I'm not here advocating for people who break laws, but I see when injustice is happening and there's no laws to lock up those persons who create the injustice. So I am having a problem with that. You understand? It's a cause and effect, Lady Elise. All right, so I guess it's time for our news, and of course our news anchor, Lady CoraleeKaren, lays ready for giving us our news this morning when we come back.
Yeah, before you get to the news, Mikey G, I just want to share 2 items that are things that are coming up.
Outstanding things.
Yes. So one of the things I want to share with you is that the Optimist Club of Georgetown, of which I'm a member, yes,
okay,
they will be having a presentation this afternoon. The title, of course, is Understanding Perimenopause. Yes, and what you should know. What everybody needs to know.
Perimenopause.
Yes, 6 p.m.
Is that for men only?
Men and women.
But he said menopause. It's men. Menopause.
So you're all are invited. Of course, Dr. Leroy Campbell is a consultant obstetrician gynecologist, and he will be sharing with the community this afternoon. So if you're in the surrounding areas, that's definitely something you want to be a part of. And also, I just want to share with you this amazing event. Mikey G, we will be definitely promoting this one. It's a Clifton Hunter High School Gospel Concert. Yes, when is it happening? Saturday, the 28th of March, 2026, starting at 6 p.m. Tickets are only $10 and children are $5 for the tickets. Something you should try to attend.
Awesome. Got that one in this morning, Lady Elise. It is indeed a beautiful morning right here in the Grand Cayman Islands. Of course, when we come back, we will take you through our newscast. Lady CoraleeKaren will be ready for us at that time. And so stay tuned. We're having a wonderful time so far with you. You stay tuned. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
When you need ultrasound that's safe and effective, you must visit Asai Ultrasound Imaging. They're conveniently located at number 4 Chestnut Center, Smith Road, Georgetown, Cayman Islands. With experienced technologists with over 20 years experience, their friendly staff will make you comfortable while you get your procedure done. Asai Ultrasound Imaging is open Mondays to Fridays, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. and 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. on Saturdays. Call Asai Ultrasound Imaging 345-949-2454 or 345-938-3426. That's 345-949-2454 or 345-938-3426.
Lasco 1 and Up now has ARA, DHA, and prebiotics. It's the new, smarter formula. The time by Lasco 1 and Up is...
It's 7:58 right here in the Grand K, and it's news time.
Good morning, I'm CoraleeKaren, and here are your top stories for today. Cayman's workforce undergoing major shift. Cayman's workforce is experiencing a significant transformation, with recruitment patterns shifting toward a more globally diverse labor market. A growing number of workers are now coming from countries such as Nepal, India, and the Philippines, with Nepal emerging as the fastest growing nationality on island. Today, approximately 1,800 Nepalese workers make up more than 5% of Cayman's work permit holders. This shift reflects increasing demand in sectors like hospitality, construction, healthcare, and financial services, as employers look beyond traditional recruitment markets such as the UK, Canada, and the United States. Experts say rising living costs and global competition are driving these changes, while immigration policies continue to encourage diversity in the workforce. Despite some economic concerns, Cayman continues to maintain a reputation for integration and cultural harmony, with over 140 nationalities living and working together across the islands. Tourism Matters. New video series launched. The Cayman Islands Chamber of Commerce, in partnership with the Department of Tourism, has launched a new animated video series titled Tourism Matters. The series highlights the vital role tourism plays in the local economy, from job creation to supporting small businesses and preserving Cayman's culture. It also introduces viewers to emerging areas such as ecotourism, cultural tourism, and agritourism, while encouraging young Caymanians to explore career opportunities within the industry. Officials say the initiative is designed to educate the public and inspire the next generation to play an active role in shaping the future of tourism. ATV seized following traffic violations. Police have impounded an all-terrain vehicle after reports of dangerous driving in Georgetown. A 29-year-old man from Bodytown has been warned for prosecution after allegedly performing stunts on public roads without proper licensing or insurance. Authorities are reminding the public that all vehicles used on public roads must be properly registered, insured, and compliant with traffic laws. E-bike investment sparks debate. A government minister has stated that a woman who invested over $65,000 in e-bikes should have checked existing laws before importing them. The comment comes after strict enforcement of e-bike regulations led to a sharp decline in demand, leaving the business owner struggling to sell her inventory. Officials maintain that while the situation is unfortunate, the legislation must be enforced, though discussions around possible adjustments, such as designated zones, are ongoing. Inclusion takes center stage at conference. Inspiring messages of inclusion were shared at the recent Inclusion Cayman conference. Keynote speakers Brent and Kyle Peace emphasized that true inclusion starts with seeing the person first and creating environments where everyone can participate fully. Government officials also highlighted ongoing efforts to improve accessibility, early diagnosis, and support for individuals with disabilities across the islands. In international news, tensions continue to rise as U.S. President Donald Trump makes strong remarks regarding Cuba amid ongoing power outages linked to fuel shortages. Meanwhile, Iran has told the United Nations it will not submit to what it describes as aggression as conflict in the Middle East continues to escalate. Health Watch: sleep apnea concerns rising. And finally, a global study has found that nearly 1 in 4 people may be at risk for sleep apnea, a condition that disrupts breathing during sleep. Experts warn that many cases go undiagnosed, and untreated sleep apnea can lead to serious health issues, including high blood pressure and stroke. Health professionals are encouraging early detection and the use of wearable technology to monitor sleep patterns. And that's your Breakfast Hour News Update. I'm CoraleeKaren. Thank you for listening and have a safe and productive morning.
When you need ultrasound that's safe and effective, you must visit Asai Ultrasound Imaging. They're conveniently located at number 4 Chestnut Center, Smith Road, Georgetown, Cayman Islands. With experienced technologists with over 20 years experience, their friendly staff will make you comfortable while you get your procedure done. Asai Ultrasound Imaging is open Mondays to Fridays, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. and 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. on Saturdays. Call Asai Ultrasound Imaging 345-949-2454 or 345-938-3426. That's 345-949-2454 or 345-938-3426.
Welcome back, welcome back. It is a beautiful Tuesday morning right here on the Breakfast Hour. And as I listened to the news, Mikey G, one of the very same questions I had are not about persons new in the business of e-bikes, but I wondered the impact for those persons who own a whole, because there is a company, I believe, on Ireland that there are different areas that you would have these bikes parked, and you would just need to download the app and then you can just ride once you pay a small fee to ride. So the impact legislation can make or break your business, and I don't know at what stage she would have known that the law would have changed, because it investing $65,000, that's a large investment now to try to now sell or try to, I don't know. So it's a difficult position for this person who has invested in e-bikes at this time.
I told you last week when we were talking to Officer Millwood right here on the Breakfast Hour, and that I am not likely to want an e-bike at this time in the Cayman Islands. It's too much.
Yeah.
It's too much trouble for nothing. It's too much trouble for nothing. So I would definitely buy a bicycle and keep pedaling.
Yes, I see a few bicycles. The only thing I would say is that it's important for safe usage of whatever, whether you're a pedestrian or you're a motorcyclist, a pedal cyclist, because also in the news we learned of someone who was doing stunts, and we see that a lot on the road.
His problem was Lady Elise was he was doing stunts while not licensed. So probably if he was licensed, he could do the stunts. I'm thinking, I'm looking at the paper that I wrote down here. He was doing it while he was not licensed.
I don't know. It's important to be safe. And, of course, we recognize that persons are coming from all over the world. Did you catch that part of the news?
So here's that part for me. I saw that, right?
Yes.
Here's my...
Yes.
All right, go ahead. Let build that out and then I'll tell you what I'm thinking.
It is very interesting. That's what I would have to say. And the news said it, but I am seeing it. right, I am seeing a lot more persons coming from India.
Diversity.
That's the number one.
Diversity. You're talking about diversity now.
Yes, yes. And I had a conversation over the weekend, and this is probably totally different. I was speaking with a few persons who are from Jamaica
Right.
and of Indian descent. And the conversation
You
was,
mean people like, okay, people like myself?
yes,
A little
the
bit of it.
conversation-
I'm half of that group of persons and half of the other
Well,
group.
look,
So,
look at the conversation. The conversation was that, my grandfather had this name, but when they came to Jamaica, they couldn't pronounce the name, so they decided to write my name like this. So now I have a new name, but my family, everybody is in India.
yes.
And that
I have
is-
the same. I
I
have the same
think-
issue.
That is a conversation for everybody in the islands, everybody in Jamaica, because and I guess it's everybody in the world. Where are your forefathers? Where did they come from?
Well-
Did they always grow in Jamaica?
Well-
So when you see this happening, at least persons are coming willingly or supposedly willingly. What circumstances made them make the choice? That's another conversation. But they have come to another part of the world, and how you can change different things, the culture, what is done just by the amount of persons that come from a particular area. Very interesting conversation. It's deeper than just the surface. But let's hear your take on it, Mikey G.
Well, I was trying to tap into a little part of that, earlier, where you consider the idea of persons integrating and name changing and stuff like that. Yes, in actual sense of that, it is in true sense that nobody come from Jamaica originally, except the Arawak Indians who would have been basically murdered and killed and destroyed. And,
Yes.
and the other words that I would like to say, but maybe a little bit, it's a breakfast hour time, so I try to minimize some of it. I usually don't take so much heart in it, but I'm taking counsel that I am going to be saying that you do this evil to the people of the native land and kill them and get rid of them, and then we have imported people from all over the world. So no Jamaican have their real name unless they are Chung and Chang. Chung and Chang still keep their name. For some reasons, some persons never get the opportunity to be shackled and hauled off from their town and brought to a strange land, beaten into submission of accepting Bakra Master name. These are not things that some people got a chance. The Indians came willingly, and the Chinese came willingly. Hence the name Coolie was assigned to both of them. And that's the concept of what they saw them,
Yes,
the cheap
yes,
labor,
yes.
coolie. So when you hear somebody call it a coolie, they're actually saying it's a disgraceful name in terms of cheap labor.
Yes.
So
yes.
it was assigned to Indians and the Indians and the Chinese, and they
Yes.
call them coolies, and so that was a name to degrade you into a different thing. So I'm looking at the demography and how things are at this point. We knew that cost of living is going to breed a different thing. We heard about immigration reform and how immigration reform is necessary for the betterment of the country, because young Caymanians are not being promoted in having these jobs that are being given away to these persons who are coming from different countries. That was a proposed idea. I don't know if you heard it anywhere. I'm the only one who heard it.
I don't remember hearing that, but
But I mean,
I don't
the
know.
jobs that people are occupying are Caymanian jobs that Caymanians should do, and this is the story that is being told. But now the story have changed. You need people from India and Nepal who will work for far less wages than those who have Caymanian descendants. Because Caymanians won't do that job for that wages So you have to get somebody who can do it for that wages. Something seemingly a little bit with that conversation. So why not pay the persons? Why? So you're saying that the Caymanians will not work for that wage, while the persons from Nepal and India and maybe other parts of the world will work for that wage?
What would be interesting is to find out too, what are the jobs, what are the areas. I think it was mentioned.
It says hospitality, which means which may include home care, stuff like that.
Not
domestic,
only that,
domestic,
the volume of new hotels and of course new hospitality industry areas that are happening.
But these are the areas that are usually Caymanian jobs. These are the areas that are Caymanian jobs.
That conversation. It will be interesting to have that conversation, Mikey G.
I'm just saying that these were the jobs that were. I remember the time when Caymanians were doing these jobs, and these were the jobs that were being. A lot of persons was complaining that persons from overseas come and take these jobs.
Yes.
But no, you're saying that you're going to import people to take these jobs because the Caymanians won't do these jobs. Is that the statement? I don't know if that's a statement, but that must have been it.
I don't know what the statement, but it would
Who is
be
doing
interesting.
it though?
I don't know. As I said, the question is, what are the areas? Because one of the things that you also do know, as there's a whole population and a whole community that are already from India, and so that alone will facilitate or encourage immigrants from that. So it's a natural flow of things that will happen, but certainly the immigration laws will determine who comes and who goes, who comes, who goes, who stays. So it is something that we can follow, Mikey G, and definitely share information as it becomes available to us.
Here's my last take on it. I remember when the Cubans and the Cuban schools were being built in Jamaica and those facilities.
Yes.
I don't know if you remember those days when it was happening. Back in the 1970s.
Yes.
We have a lot of communities that were affected by Cuban nationals. We had a lot of Cuban children. All right, so it is another beautiful morning right here in the Grand K. I just say what I think, I just
yes, you do. So we want to thank.
Let me do this. Sorry. Excuse me.
You finished?
I'm finished.
So I want to thank our news anchor CoraleeKaren for the able way in which she brought the news to us. Just a reminder of two important events happening. One, this afternoon, the Optimist Club of Georgetown will be opening their doors to the community as they welcome obstetrician gynecologist Dr. Leroy Campbell right there at the South Sound Civic Center, 6 p.m. If you can go on down, you will be welcome to attend. Of course, coming up on the 28th of March is something you can't afford to miss. And we'll be sharing this one a lot more as the days go by. The gospel concert, come on over, and it's only $10 per ticket and $5 per children. I know there's a wealth of talent. We had a few of the students from Clifton Hunter who entered in Cayman's Got Talent. Now they are performing for the community. It's something you do not want to miss. Thank you so much for joining us this morning on the Breakfast Hour, Mikey G. As we get out of the studio, I'm sure you have something you want to share with our viewers, our listeners this morning.
Well, I saw the last thing on my list was inclusion.
Oh, you had that.
But inclusion is very interesting. I saw that inclusion because when I talk about, I heard diversity and inclusion. I remember licenses for one set of persons being more costly than another set of persons. But then I look and realize that it was not talking about that kind of inclusion. If you're disabled or otherwise, then you could be included. So I'm sorry, guys. I saw it. I don't know what to do with it. I don't know what to do with it.
Now he's done.
Hi, guys. Have a wonderful day. It was fun being here with you this morning. I totally enjoyed this morning's episode of the Breakfast Hour. If you're really interested in catching the Breakfast Hour in the early stages, we start at 6:30 on our web radio right here on Flashpoint, www.flashpointmedia.ky. Our web radio continues all day, all night, 24 hours. But we start the Breakfast Hour at 6:30. Your music and some spiritual, thing. But YouTube won't allow us to play music and stuff here, so we don't try to put too much on that, dropping the music in here because of the copywriting and all of that kind of thing. So we just keep it talk show at after 7 o'clock. After 7:20, we are just talking about things that are happening around our world and of course in our environment. And so we keep it real. And so we want to thank you for joining us each morning. For those who have already joined us, our friends, family that who have joined us already each morning, and for new persons who will be joining us. Of course, yes, guys, remember we are now launching our new app for Flashpoint, and so look out for that launch. We're coming up, we're setting our dates to launch that one for you. And of course, you have now the Flashpoint app ready to go. Click and play anywhere you are.
Thank you, everyone. Have yourself a beautiful day, and I say be optimistic. Don't let anything at all disturb your peace of mind. If you meet upon an obstacle, see it as an opportunity to reinvent yourself, to be innovative, to surpass that. So I'm asking you today, look at that glass as half full, no matter what the situation is today. Have yourself a terrific Tuesday. Thank you for tuning in to the Breakfast Hour right here on Flashpoint.
It's like we're running in circles, going around every day, getting stuck in the hurdles of yesterday. Don't you wanna go further away from the fray? Let's not get stuck in our worries. We'll make our own way. Won't you come outside where the sunflowers bloom? Breathe in the air, look up to the moon. I'll meet you outside, away from the crowd. Just you and me together, we'll all sing better outside. Just us in the sky. Part of this circus? Is it innate? Feels like a heavy burden
We use the internet to advance the gospel of Jesus Christ, transforming lives, renewing hearts 24/7, 7 days a week. Internet radio in a class by itself. We're flashing the gospel around the world as a witness. And someone will say, you know what? I heard it on Flashpoint Radio, and my life has been changed. Flash